So now we're going to start looking at the literature poems. Simon Armitage is up first. We've got here Mother Any Distance. So basically, first of all, first smile point is the structure. Obviously, it's quite irregular the whole way through. It's kind of showing the awkwardness of him basically saying goodbye to his mum, and in some ways, trying to break the bond of the family home, etc., etc., as he moves out on his own. You've got a second point in structure that it opens with mother. Obviously, signifies who he's talking to, even if it is a secret letter. It's some kind of dramatic monologue where he's actually talking to his mum and explaining that what follows is relevant to her. Third point, actually the use of ellipsis all the way down the end here, where it's actually just showing you've got this last kind of break, this moment to see whether what he's going to find when he actually goes to this hatch here, how it's actually going to be like. So what's the meanings then of the poem? Well, you've got the idea of the mother and child relationships or parental relationships. So there is seen in zero ends. Obviously that's where his mother actually starts, and then obviously through the whole of the life been feeding out, she's been watching him grow, growing up and becoming an adult. So here that's at the end, because towards the end he's got to this hatch where he's going to fall or fly, where he's going to actually see if he can make a success of it on his own, and obviously the independence from his parents, which is again at that point, and the independence you can actually sum up really well with this one here to breaking point. Is the idea that there it's like the way things were is about to change. So we've got the images. The mother's characteristics are depicted as a son's base, centimeters back to base right there. So yes, the mother is the safe space for the child, so you've always got that idea of what a mother should be, or what mothers are typically seen as, should I say. Someone trying to reach their full potential, so the words I reach here, someone actually really going for it. They think they're going to make life on their own and obviously try and succeed, and someone looking forward to new opportunities under the endless sky. And that's a really nice image actually, so it just means anything's possible for this person as they are moving through this situation that they're moving through. Okay, so the language is quite personal and informal. Mother, you, and I are used obviously throughout. Mother, you, etc. So it's quite close, quite personal and quite an intimate poem thanks to those aspects. Lines such as back to base are memorable and powerful as a reader because it's a use of alliteration. So the idea there being that obviously it strikes us being back to base, and obviously it's got connotations. That's a phrase we hear kind of a lot with regards to stories with regards to war, and again the base idea has just got the safe place, so it's back to somewhere safe. And also we've got the prairies. It's actually showing the space that's actually found in the house. The prairies, the floors. It seems like such a wide new space because obviously it hasn't got all of the parent stuff actually in there. So it's and also because obviously it's empty. So basically it's kind of also could be inviting the mother to look over somewhere new. So the effect that it actually has on us, well, it actually makes us think about the day that you'll actually move out, the day that you grow up, how you're going to be when you move out, what kind of input your parents will have on that. Reminds people of how important mothers are, etc., and how they actually feel towards them and the kind of relationship that you've always had. And it also makes people think about the reliance that we have on parents, etc., etc., and the quest for independence, etc. You can talk about any of those things. So we move on then to Homecoming, which is a very unique poem. This poem's a great one to analyse because there are actually tons of things that you can pick out and actually just try and put your own twist on. So it's a good thing to go from there. So the structure, we've got 4 dense stanzas, and each one has loads and loads and loads of information in it. So psychologically, this actually referred to something like a flashbulb memory. It's where you pick up like loads of details about one thing or one aspect, one element, because the detail that they actually go into are probably almost more fragmented than they should be. But there's so much little detail in the colours and the size of things and the etc, etc, etc. So there's lots of that with regards to the structure. Also enjambment, which makes us hold on certain words like the idea of front here or the idea of home here, and also the structure of the title. The title actually gives this rooting, the homecoming, because you'd have no idea what this was about. But the words, the word homecoming there at the beginning, just kind of really helps us understand that this is someone about rebuilding relationship with people at home or something things that actually happened within the home, etc. So we look at the first meaning then. And we're looking at childhood and family misunderstandings, etc. So you've got an argument that's actually happened. So maybe this is something that's either good or bad in relationship between the parents. Obviously something bad's happened, but something good happens as well. You've got the idea of father figures and the idea of, kind of the calm the calmness that comes with that, and how they actually make people feel, etc., etc. So at least you've got the idea of it there, and that's here. So maybe that's kind of like, is that what the father's job is supposed to do in some ways? Protect and kind of make things right. Could be. Stereotypical roles of parent in modern society. For example, mothers are obviously emotional. Obviously, the mother's had the argument with there, and the father's actually done set things right there. And so maybe that's kind of like hinting at role models and who people might be and where they actually might turn out to be and what people need in society. Also, it's the idea of memories and how past events can actually be remembered and actually be taken in, and how they can seem. I mean, was this really how it seemed at the time, or is this how it is just looking back on it? Was it more? Is it more calm now, etc.? So there's a whole kind of vague notion of the memories and how memories actually affect us and what we do actually remember. The images then, well, we've got this great image at the beginning of this really trusting action where people obviously do this exercise in like different trust counselling sessions, etc., to try and actually show that people can be trusted. You've got the idea of the canary yellow jacket as well. That's another very strong image, because people wouldn't wear that as adults really, unless they were doing some kind of geography field trip endlessly. It's more of a kind of a child's piece of clothing, so it's something obviously that strikes him and he remembers from his childhood. You've got the also the idea, the canary. Obviously, the canary yellow is obviously the canary is something, if people have in their houses, something kept in a cage, and obviously the child here has tried to run away, so maybe the canary yellow is actually significant because of that as well. Maybe that child felt trapped. You've got the darkness at midnight, etc. Just even in the word, obviously that sums up so much kind of around the place. We can just imagine it being quiet, imagine it being dark, etc., etc., etc. And we've got the signs of anger and frustration, you seeing red and blue murder. That's really well kind of contrasted, actually. You've got the idea of the blue murder, which is obviously a colloquial phrase for actually going really, really angry, and obviously red, obviously for classical anger. So the images there are really, really strong. And again, like I said, it's got so much detail in it, that obviously things that are scuffs, things that are blackened, there's so many images in here. So you've got the strong alliteration as well, where we've got free fall. I'm just trying to find that. There, the free fall, actually, obviously the alliteration to actually emphasize the idea that the fall is ongoing. It's not set. It's supposed to just be a really free falling trust, and the double F emphasizes that. Temper, and repetition, obviously, kind of harks into parental tone as well, but also kind of just it's kind of sarcastic as well. So this is why we know that child's actually remember in the past. So it remembers the temper that maybe parents actually having to go at the child, or maybe the parents subconsciously actually remembering how the child's actually remember how the parent was in that sense, and looking back on it fondly. You've got the idea of the silhouette as well, where things are actually very ambiguous. You don't actually know exactly who it is. I mean, is it his father? Is it his stepfather? Who is it there? But basically, the figure is actually there, and it's a really interesting idea of someone being in the dark. Maybe they'll sort things out and make it safe, or maybe things won't be as good as they seem. So, what does this make us think about? Well, it makes us think about the ambitions of what we're going to do when we do leave home, or will we come back, or will we try and make things right, or will we try and change things? Again, makes us think about memories of childhood and exactly how things were for us, were they as good as we remember, as bad as we remember. I mean, every generation seems to turn around and say that, the last generation had it better, but who knows? It makes you contemplate people who support you in your life, your parents and your friends, because obviously this person's gone out to kind of speak to someone, or wants to speak to someone, or wishes they could speak to someone. So maybe this is about the loved one, a friend, and the connection they've had with them. And also makes me think about what instances had negative impacts on us. What made us ever want to run away from home, or get into an argument, or maybe to some extent turn out the way we did in some aspects.